احمد الخزاعي چې د منځني ختیځ د چارو د امریکا له چارو وتلې کارپوه دی. Ahmed Khuzaie, good morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. It's always good to be here with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. As James Caratano Heritage Foundation's James Caratano signaled, it's essential to end the Russia and Ukraine war. And today, U.S. officials and Russian diplomats are meeting at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. What outcomes are both sides hoping to achieve from the discussions, do you think?
Well, to start with, the trip comes after Trump's remarks on displacing the Gazans recently. Yes, with a focus on the Ukrainian situation. Now, what was discussed was restoring embassy staffing between Russia and the USA. Of course, negotiating the Ukrainian situation is coming at a time when Europeans somehow failed into achieving anything. So far, the meetings are still ongoing, yet so far everybody is pleased with the outcome, since what's important and what came out officially is that the embassies will be reopened at full-fledged, and the restoring of embassy staffing is there, which means the relations are going on the right track. Of course, we'll be able to discuss more after the meetings are over.
احمد نما تاسو کو چې سرنګ د امریکا د بهرنیو چارو وزیر او د روس د چارواکو ترمنځ ملاقات کیږي څه تمی او توقعات د ترلاسه کې احمد ویل چې د لومړي ملاقاتونه دي د دین روسو بداله چارواکو ترمنځ ملاقاتونه کیږي د په دې موضوع باندې تملري چې د اوکرين او د روس جګړه ختم شي او چیلنجینګ کار دی. احمد, I have one more question about Russia and Ukraine, then we will discuss Gaza and Palestine. As Trump suggested that the US will take it, and the Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Khuzaie rejected that plan. We will discuss that in a little while. But let's have one more question on U.S. and Ukraine. How has the U.S. signaled its position on potential diplomatic solutions for the war at Ukraine and Russia?
It was signaled during the campaigns when Trump was still running for president. Now we see it happening on the ground, especially after the vice president's speech at the Munich summit last Friday. He was bashing, and I say it clearly, he was bashing the Europeans for not reaching any consensus with the Russians. Now, today, with Marco Rubio being in Saudi Arabia, discussing with the major allies, so it's not basically for the USA, for President Trump, it's not or no longer the NATO or the European Union. It's Saudi Arabia. That's why it's happening in Saudi Arabia, and of course Russia. Where they are reaching, apparently, I'm not going to say they are reaching the end of the war today, but they are reaching a consensus where, off the record, I've heard some rumors, them talking about how to stop the war and when, and basically they're taking the information back to their leaders to come back with a consensus.
Well, and let's talk about the Gaza situation now. The U.S. diplomats, the top diplomats, have had a meeting with the Mohamed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia. What do you think will be the outcome of that suggestion President Trump was making, that the U.S. will take it and the Palestinian people will be resettled somewhere else?
Tracking or tracing President Trump's speeches from 2016 until today would teach us one thing and one thing only, is that he is good at haggling. He's a businessman. He always go for the high stakes to make sure that he reaches with everybody at least 50% below that. So when he spoke about displacing the Gazans, I think he was looking for something below that. But of course, shooting for the stars will always reach him high somewhere. Displacing the Gazans is not accepted by anybody, and that starts with the Saudi Arabia team, with Jordan and with Egypt. Of course, beside the Palestinians, nobody's willing to leave.
دی وی چې د صدر ټرمپ دغه تجویز یا وړاندیز چې د غزې خلک به په نورو هیوادونو کې آباد کړی شي از ناٹ ایکسپټډ ټو انیباډي چاته هم د قبول وړ نه دی او په داسې حال کې هغه یو کاروباري شخصیت ته د غزنز ډیسپلیسمنت چې دی یا د بل ځای کې آبادول چې دی په دې باندې ریاکشن خودل شوی دی as you said it's not accepted to anybody and Arab League Secretary General Ahmed yesterday said that they are not ready to accept that plan as President Trump were suggesting. What do you think will be the outcome of those meeting in Saudi Arabia as Marco Rubio were trying to make a trip to Saudi Arab and that is the actual plan of United States. So what will be the future of that ceasefire then?
We have to understand that Marco Rubio comes to Saudi Arabia flying from Tel Aviv. So that means he went to Israel, from there to Saudi Arabia, to reach a middle ground in between. Part of his trip to Saudi Arabia is to negotiate the bilateral ties, when Mohamed bin Salman mentioned the $600 billion deals, if you remember. So you can't have both at the same time without letting go or giving up some of what you have. And here the art of negotiations come at play. Saudi Arabia is not an easy country to deal with from a high ground. They have their methods, they have their ways and means, and of course they have their target. If as well the Abraham Accords were negotiated, it would reach nowhere without reaching a consensus about the Gazans and the situation in Gaza, of course, along with the ceasefire. My personal analysis is that we will reach somewhere soon, somewhere accepted by almost everybody, something acceptable by all parties in the sense that it will be beneficial for most parties.
Okay, دی وی چې د میډل ګراوند خبره وکړه یعنی د منځ لاره به ګوري تل ابیب ته د تګ نرستو مارکو روبیو بیا سعودي عرب ته تللی دی او د منځ کومه لاره به ګوري. One more question, Ahmed. What about the Abrahamic Accord? Do you see any potential positive progress on that matter that was initiated at the President Trump's first presidential time that was initiated? Now, do you see any potential progress on that Abrahamic Accord?
On the ground, there's nothing, because nothing will happen without, I'm talking about especially Saudi Arabia. From my own perspective, Saudi Arabia won't engage in anything regarding the Abraham Accords without reaching a fair two-state solution on paper, not even talks.
Thank you.
And the other Arab and Muslim countries want, basically, not just want, will take Saudi's lead on that.
Ahmed Khuzaie, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
I really appreciate talking to you. Thank you, sir.